The PC market is absolutely terrible. Everything is really expensive right now when it comes to desktop computers. So straight up, now is the time to buy a mini PC more than ever. Here's a mini PC from KAMRUI. I've already reviewed it. This is the ending. It's actually after the fact. I've already tested it. I've done a bunch of reviews from them in the past. I did one actually not too long ago. This one's really cool. I like it quite a bit. Why would I recommend a mini PC? Well, as I just said, the computer market is trash right now. Everything is very expensive. Building a desktop is very expensive. Buying a desktop is very expensive. Mini PCs are more compelling than ever because even though the price of mini PCs has also gone up, because I mean the companies need to source RAM and stuff like that, the relative price is still incredible for these type of things here. It's designed to be sleek. It feels very premium, by the way. It's strange because it is a plastic material, but it seems very premium, and it runs very quiet. All these spoilers. Good port selection, fast ports on the front. You'll see in the test how fast they are, but you have some fast ports on the front there. Audio, big giant metal exhaust to cool it out. Dual display port and HDMI. You get a LAN there and a bunch more ports there. Kensington lock slot. And it's a really good way to get into acceptable or actually good computing for now and ride it out for the time being until prices come back to normal. Okay, so let's look inside. You just take off the 4 rubber feet there, take off the screws underneath, and in theory this should just pop right up. And it does have a nice plate on it. So we can see there that's a plate there. So it actually looks like that's a fan, but fan hole, but it's probably just like a reused chassis from another device. You can see here that's not how it works. It actually has like a giant, basically a big metal plate in there. So you take out this big metal plate here, and inside there we have our system. So we have memory is Puskill. That's a gross name. And it comes with 1 stick. So the nice thing is there, if you were to slap in a second stick, you'd end up with dual channel memory, which would end up increasing your speeds if you care about that. I'm going to test this at stock, like factory stock, because what's going to happen that way is I'm going to be able to see, what the speed is when you just buy this thing. And then the nice thing is the way that they ship this is they ship it with a 16 gigabyte module. So then when you want to upgrade, you don't need to get 2 16s, especially in this screwed up market. What you can do is you can just go out and buy 1 more 16 gigabyte module and slap that in and take it up to 32, right? Or slap in something like this, like a smaller stick. That's fine. NetAC, NVMe, not one of the massive mega brands, but I see these all the time. NetAC, I see them all the time. They're even sold on like Amazon, that kind of stuff. Upgradable Wi-Fi, that's good. How do I get this thing out? Does this just pop out now? But hard to get out. It's a little bit of a different design. So what's going to happen then, as you can see, it pulls air in through this crack here, here, all the way around. And then there's a big fan in there, the size, basically the whole thing. And that's going to essentially just exhaust air out of these radiator fins, cooling it down and doing that quietly. So it's not going to run super noisy while you're cooling this thing down. You'll see, again, I've already tested all of this, but everything in the system runs super cool and super quiet because it's really designed to, it's not the lowest wattage system. It's actually a reasonable wattage system, but everything is designed around running cool and quiet here. So for someone like me, I get a lot of value out of a system running super quiet. Okay, well, here we are set up. It's actually it's actually the next day, to be quite honest. I've just done a bunch of tests, played around with it, try to get an opinion, but now I actually have some actual benchmarks we can run here, show you some stuff, but I just wanted to get a rough idea because I've never used this chip before. But let's see what we have here. So I'm going to show you some of the cool specs that we have going on here. I have never used this CPU before, so that's why this is very interesting to me. So what we have here is we have an AMD embedded CPU. I've never used one of these before. V2748 with Radeon graphics. This would be essentially equivalent to a Ryzen 5700U, 5700H, sorry. That would be basically what it is. So, like a couple generations old 5000 series AMD, but the AMD 5000 series is still very good, especially for CPU tasks. If you're going to be using the iGPU, it's no monster. It's not going to beat out like, an ROG Ally or something, but it does still have decent. It doesn't show here, but this is Vega graphics. So we will do a little bit of gaming here. You're not going to be playing Resident Evil Requiem or something like that, but you will be able to game. That's a very interesting chip to me. Now that is a true 8-core processor with 16 threads, and like I said, it's essentially a 5700 AMD, so it's still very viable. I mean, you can buy those. It's just interesting that this is an embedded one, so we'll see how that goes. Very cool to me. I'll just show you some of the benchmarks here. As you can see, when it's running, it is completely silent. It's literally silent. I can't hear it at all. Actually, minimize these. So the fastest port on the thing is the front USB-A. So the front USB-A is actually a 10 gigabit port, so that's good. It does have one relatively fast port on the front. I tested it with this here, and this thing goes pretty quick. It's not like a standard USB. It runs at like SSD speeds. So the front there can do 10 gigabit per second USB-A. That's as fast as USB-A can physically go, so that's very good. If you're doing things like video editing, which I'll do a little bit in this, personally, if you don't want to use the internals, I would use the front USB-A. The front USB-C is also reasonably fast. It's not as fast, but it's still going to give you 5 gigabit per second, which would give you the same speed as like a SATA SSD. So that's good. You can still, I can still video edit off of that USB-C if I wanted in the front. No problems. The back ports, it has a bunch of those back ports, and they're running at USB-A as well. At 5 gigabit for the USB-A as well. So that's also very good. We're going to get good speeds out of this thing here, right? USB-A in the front, in the back there, nice and quick. USB-C in the front there, nice and quick. It's not like a slow port. And then the fastest port is obviously this one here. Now you don't get USB 4, but that's okay. Now I do want to run some Cinebench. I've already done a bunch of Cinebench. Just to kind of see how it is, because again, I've never used this chip before. But I want to show you the noise here. So here is Cinebench R23, and we have our idle watts here, idle temperature. So the temperature here is idling, 40-ish degrees. Looks like it'll bounce up and down a little bit, but it's like 40, 45 degrees, and this thing is completely silent. Like, I'm talking, there is no noise at all, right? It's completely silent. That's the way that the thing is designed to be. A silent little boy there. There's no fans, there's no noise, there's nothing. Right, that's how it's designed. So we're going to run this thing here. Right, so the nice thing about this here is it's running super quiet. So we can see the temperature is there. Sorry, the wattage is there, 25 to 27 watts. So reasonable watts for what it is for a totally silent machine. Temperature's running quite well, right? It's not going to get super hot. It's designed to run like this. It's, complete silence type system here, but it's got that giant, I guess, fin stack is what I'd call it on there, radiator fin stack thing. So despite the fact that it is actually pulling 27 watts, which is a respectable amount of power, it's not getting super hot. That's pretty good. I mean, you can't expect, desktop level performance out of a, little embedded chip like that doesn't have, a big behemoth cooling fan on it, running at, 200 watts. It's running at very low watts, and it's running completely silent. There's no reason to I can show you. Right? Like, it doesn't produce any sound. So it's very impressive for what it is. And then you may say, okay, yeah, but what kind of scores can you get out of this thing? Well, honestly, it's not bad for what it is. Like, that's really not bad. You're going to get 7,299 on, this is a full run from start to finish, because I wanted to see, maybe it'll get super hot and throttle down to pathetic scores or something like that. But no, we're getting 7,299, which is very respectable. On a full run here. Like, that's equivalent, like you can hear, like there's an 11th gen mobile processor, i7 mobile processor, the big boy too, and it's like, this is not even hitting 5,000, this is significantly faster. This would be equivalent to, like some of the lower power stuff you can get in laptops that are actively cooled in that. So, I mean, considering it's a completely silent system, it's very good. Here's the, standard 11th gen there. It's like half as fast, right? It's definitely very respectable for what it is. It's almost running as fast as like an i9 9800 there under full bore. Like, I mean, this is pretty respectable for what it is, 7,200. So, I mean, I really wasn't sure what to expect. I mean, you look at it and you're like, well, it is an 8-core, right? And it's going to be roughly on par with a 5700U, but then you're like, at the same time, it's not a big actively cooled system. It's not going to run at high watts or something. So I wasn't exactly sure, but that is a very respectable score for what it is. So that's very good. Now, what we can do is we can actually do some other goodies here. So I'm going to actually install my video editing software. I'll come back. I'm going to install my video editing software, and we'll see how quick it can do that kind of stuff with this, reasonable CPU. I finally got this thing to make some freaking noise. It took forever. I did a full Cinebench run, and then I basically I'm installing a really big program. It's finally making some noise. It's so quiet though. It's like 1.5 dB above ambient. Like if I put this thing into it, it's still barely quiet. And then come back to with me. Like it is absolutely at the very bottom of my hearing range. Let me bring in my microphone here. You can probably hear if I bring it up. Oh, well, it's turning off because it finished installing the program. That's how quiet this thing is. Like, so let's just grab a video here that's like, there's a 1 terabyte video. So that's a 1 terabyte video. Sorry, 1 gigabyte video, not 1 terabyte. Put it in here. Okay, can we scrub through? That's the question here. So we'll get it here. Yes, we can. Look at that. So immediately it has enough because it's an 8-core processor, right? So, it's able to devote some of the resources into processing the video itself, like processing the audio, processing the video, but then it has so many cores, being an 8-core, that I can still come in here and I can still do stuff while it is doing that. If you have like a little Peasley CPU or something like that, you wouldn't be capable of doing this. And again, this is very capable. I was running a Intel Lunar Lake, which is one of my favorite CPUs of 2025, and it only can pull out, like there we go. It's a 4P core 4E core, and that's fully processed. That is a 25-minute 4K 60 video, fully processed by this little guy here. Anyway, so that Panther Lake CPU, it runs 4 E cores, 4P cores, and even in like stuff like Cinebench, it does better, but only like 15% better in video editing, that kind of stuff. And I had no problem. I used that thing for like probably a month for video editing, and I didn't have any complaints about it. It was running very well. And yeah, it's really not that much faster than this. Yeah, anyways, I mean, that's done now. So that's done. So let's come in here. I'm going to show you one other thing. You could do video editing very quick, is what I was getting at here, right? Like it's going to be not as fast as my, desktop, obviously, but my desktop is 25 times the size or something like that. Like it's not even comparable. It's massively larger. So I don't know. Let's just make this like 1 minute or something like that. Okay, so now let's see what we can do, like manipulating this. Let's just say, how long? Let's do like a minute. So where are we at here? So that's, how long is that? That's a minute right there. Okay, so that'll be fine as it is right there. We'll just take these out here, these two, and just kind of, whatever. It's a short video, a little 1 minute video. But again, 1 minute, 4K 60, it's fine. I just want to basically show like the encoding abilities of this thing. Which again, it has the Vega iGPU. So we'll just put that, that's my game, just put this on the desktop, whatever. Now, again, this is pretty capable, so you can come in here and you can do HEVC, which is what I normally do. I encode at 4K, I encode at 60 FPS. Actually, I usually go that. And that's a really high, recommend 10,000, that's fine. Okay, now you do have access to the AMD. They do have access to the AMD encoding engine, which is totally fine. It's going to use the CPU and the iGPU and encode that. No problems. This is not some massive video or anything like that. I'm just going to try to show you here. So 4K 60 video here, reasonable bitrate, all that here. And then you can come in here and you can rip this thing out. Yeah, I have no idea how long it'll take. Maybe 45 seconds or a minute. I don't know, something like that. Let's just see here. Yeah, it's probably going to be almost exactly a minute. I typically find that with iGPUs, unless they're like super modern, like let's say, yeah, again, Panther Lake or something like that, or 8060S or something like that. I mean, those can do, you're getting to like dedicated graphics levels. But typically I find the average iGPU, if it's a good iGPU, like modern iGPU, it's usually about a 1-to-1 approximately. So around there. So if you do like a 1 minute video, it's going to take about 1 minute to encode. So if I were to encode, like what's the average YouTube video length? I think nowadays they're pretty short, 13 minutes maybe, between 8 and 13 minutes. I think that's the average YouTube video length. So if someone's encoding, an 8-minute video, it's going to take approximately, and they're doing 4K 60, it's going to take approximately 8-ish minutes, maybe 8.5 minutes or something like that. It's not too bad, right? So this is totally fine. You're not going to have any problems doing this type of work here. It has the Vega graphics, like I said. It has the good CPU with 8 cores, and it'll use a combination of the two of them.
Okay, so you ask yourself, can you play games?
On a mini PC like this that doesn't have the most powerful modern graphics, yes, you can. There's going to be, so how many games are there for PC? 200, 300, 400,000 games. You can probably play about 99.999% of games on this, on PC. You're going to be able to play anything that's, AAA titles that are, I would say, probably 2020 or below, maybe even 2021, because I remember back in 2021, Vega graphics were playing, I was playing stuff like The Witcher on them, right? I was playing, and you're going to be fine to play that kind of stuff. You're going to be totally fine playing modern 2026 titles, as long as they're not, the most demanding AAA titles. But there's going to be games like this. I mean, like this is a relatively reasonable demanding title, but it's not, the most crazy for 3D graphics or anything like that. This is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. We're playing at 1080p. I just put on a little bit of scaling, and that's a very unfortunately placed overlay there, to be honest. And we're getting 35 up to 40 FPS here, and it's not really dropping down much. Like we're getting 45 at times, and there's a lot of action happening here, right? So I've never played this game, by the way. I have no idea what I'm doing. Power up. Yeah, so I mean, there's going to be like so many games like this that you're going to be able to play, right? Okay, and here's another game you could play, right? This is so much narrative. This is Persona 5, which is arguably one of the best RPGs ever made, like quite literally. Let's not argue it. It's unarguably one of the best RPGs ever made. Some people would say it is the best RPG ever made. I think it's not as good as Persona 4, but then again, maybe I'm crazy. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, you can play, this is like a PS3, PS4 title. It's running just fine. 41 FPS up there, 42 FPS, 45. We used some scaling here, 1080p, a little bit of scaling, and we're good to go. And this is not giving us like, you could turn up the settings, right? You can come up here and you can say, I want to turn up the settings, because we're getting, right, like 46, 45 FPS. I prefer slightly higher FPS because it feels smoother, but some people don't care. Like some people are like, I'm okay putting it to like, they want to lock it to like 30, right? And that's their like, that's like the Nintendo Switch 2. Even the Nintendo Switch 2 runs at 30 FPS. I did not do that right. Even the Nintendo Switch 2 runs at 30 FPS for like really a lot of games, to be honest. And so some people would be like, you know what, I want like this here. This is like significantly better graphics, right? We're locked to 30, and for an RPG style game like this, it's gonna be totally fine. Again, Nintendo Switch 2, the vast majority of the games run at 30 FPS, not 60, just so you know. So it'll give you an experience like that. And this looks, I mean, to be honest, this looks way better here. But I mean, we can unlock it, right? We can come down here, we can go graphics. We can, it's just low, leave the rendering scale turned up. Let's go like that. Let's just see what we can get with something like that there. Right? Like it's not going to give you that level of scaling because this is 1080p native now, but you can go in between, right? Like we could go in between and say, maybe we'll go 75. Let's try that. That's basically a 720p upscale. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. And now we're getting, 45 FPS or something like that, and it looks pretty damn good, right? And again, this is a 4K screen, so it's going to look a little weird maybe to you, but if you had an actual it is 1 dB above my noise floor. It's so quiet. It's sitting right in front of me too. So there you go. That's the KAMRUI here. It's actually a really good little mini PC here. The build quality is nice. Price is good for what it is. I mean, market's down, market's up, way up, so everything's super expensive, and you can get into a nice little mini PC like this, very capable, and you can even do some casual gaming. I wouldn't even call it casual gaming. You can play lots of games with casual settings, we'll put it that way, and not break the bank. So there you go. Okay, so let's wrap it up. We'll talk about this here. What do I think about it? Well, One of the biggest selling features for me is going to be how quiet it is. It does have that giant radiator type thing in there with that big large fan. You get a 16 gigabyte stick in here, meaning, which is good. I prefer that, meaning you can easily slap in another 16 gigabyte, take it up to 32 if need be. The actual chassis itself is very premium. I may get a plastic feel, but it's very premium feeling. It's a slightly different design than any of the other KAMRUIs that I've used. It's quite nice. All the ports are relatively fast, so you get a 5 gigabit, you get 10 gigabit on there, and some more 5 gigabit ports there. That's all really nice. Extra outs, all that. I mean, it's a nice machine. You get an 8-core CPU, basically a 5700 HS processor from AMD. It's just embedded. It's basically, that's what it is. Vega graphics are very capable still for things like video editing, and good for gaming, as long as you're okay with casual settings and not playing the most demanding AAA titles from 2026. You're going to be totally fine with this thing. The market is screwed. Everything is really expensive. I think that you guys, I mean, a lot of people are like, I need to build a desktop, and everything is so expensive right now. And a lot of people are still have that in their brain. But like, what do I use? What do I use as a daily driver? I use a mini PC myself, and I do gaming on it. I also do all of my content type stuff on a mini PC. If I can do it, I'm pretty sure you guys can. I run a YouTube channel off of a mini PC. It's a great way to get into high level computing, or at least moderate level computing here. This is not intro level. This is like moderate level, without breaking the bank. Honestly, these are way more affordable than, I don't know, trying to buy a pre-built, trying to build a system. If you want a high-level gaming desktop, okay, that's a totally different thing. But if you don't need a gaming machine, honestly, if you don't need a gaming machine, buying into some of those OEM, generic desktops, like, the consumer level desktops, they don't really offer necessarily much more performance than something like this, honestly, or even expansion. And they often are this significantly more expensive, and they're way bigger. They're like 10 times larger. So why not just get a mini PC? These guys, like mini PCs in general, I think are at the highest risk right now on this really screwed up market of facing financial issues and going out of business. Why? Because these things are sold at like cutthroat, borderline, no profit sales for these companies. They don't have good margin. They're very slim margins on these products. That means that they're vulnerable to, the market when it goes bad. But that also means now is the opportunity for us, the consumers, to buy these products still at razor thin margins, like just enough that these companies can make money and stay afloat. So we're helping support them stay afloat, but us, the consumer, are also getting great prices. I've been checking out the prices the last couple of days on Amazon. I'll put some links down below. If I can find affiliate links, I'll put them in there as well. And it's affordable. This is an affordable product, honestly, and it's fair. Honestly, for what you're paying right now, I don't know if it's going to stay like that. It may go up in price, but for what they're asking right now, the price is very fair.